I get a call from the Massachusetts University, Laura Godfrey. She wanted me to help Ryan to go and dive in the caves to find and recover lemur bones, the jaw of a lemur. And could I come? So I gave it some thought of about 3 seconds and said, definitely. So
it takes some thinking.
So I had to tell everybody I was. Yeah, it took some thinking. I mean, 3 seconds was a long time, but then I had to tell all the people that I wasn't going to the DEMA show, and they all wanted to know why. When I told them, I think many of them wanted to actually join me, but there was only just the two of us to go there. So it was really exciting. I got all my kit together, got my rebreather together, got my scooter together, thinking in my head for some reason that these caves were pretty big. And a week before we planned to leave, I get a call from Ryan, and he says, "Oh, by the way, you need to make sure you bring your side mount kit and everything." I said, "Side mount?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I got my rebreather." He said, no, there's not enough space for a rebreather. You have to dive side mount. So I was jumping up and down because my side mount harness I haven't used for many years, and I couldn't even find the damn thing. So I had to phone up Aqualung and ask them to send me a side mount harness as quick as possible. And I got it basically the same day that I was leaving. So I opened up the box when I got it from Aqualung. I threw it into my bag. Didn't even have a chance to put it all together or anything. Then I thought to myself, well, how complicated can it be? It's a side mount harness and there's not too much on there. And let's get going. It was rather funny because when I got to the airport, I was overweighted. So I had to take the side mount harness out and wear it through the airport. And I got a chance during that time to start configuring my harness in the airport. And I got some really strange looks. But the flight was from Durban, Johannesburg to Anakau, and then a flight to Tolaria. And that's on the southwest corner of Madagascar, and then a boat from Tolaria to a place called Anakau. And these, you can see some pictures there of me with the harness and everything. Fortunately, the water temperature was really, really warm. It was 29 degrees Celsius, and the deeper you went, the warmer it got. So there was no need for dry suits or anything like that. It was really lovely and warm throughout the entire dive. But it's quite funny because when you get to Anakau, you get to the beach, and there's just these small, low slung little houses on the beach, and nothing much more. And you've got a long trip by car from Anakau to the caves. It's about an hour's drive over some really thick sandy roads, and then from there you get to the parking. You've got 1.5 kilometers walk to the caves. And it was November. It's getting hot. It was quite a lot of work. And here we're prepping the cars. There's the fuel station. There's no real fuel stations around, so each of the vehicles. Let me just give you an idea of some of the preparation that went into this. Unbeknown to me, they've been planning for a year to do this particular trip, and these two vehicles were sent from the center, the main city of Tolaria, or not Tolaria, from Antananarivo to Anakau. It took them nearly a month to get there. Now, it sounds crazy, but it's true, because the roads are they're just dirt sandy roads, and there's some really big river systems. So you kind of drive down to the coast, then you've got to go all the way inland to go around and cross over the river and come down, and it takes ages and ages. And then you get flat tires, and trying to repair them is hard work. You can only take so many tires. So it took a long time for these guys to actually get to Anakau, and meanwhile we had actually flown down. And with them, they brought the compressors, the cylinders, all the kit that we need, spare water, you know, some food and all sorts of things. So it's quite an expedition. This type of stuff doesn't happen overnight. Fortunately,
sorry,
I
Barry,
didn't
that's
have to do too much of the prep.
One thing where we can look at is like, just quickly, I don't think people understand. People see the glamorous side of these dives and go, wow, this is, you know, you're diving Virgin Cave, right? This is stuff where literally nobody else has really been. Like a handful of people have been and exploring this, and then they think, oh, okay, yeah, it just happens, but they don't understand the logistics involved in this type of expedition, where, you know, yeah, people have been planning this for a year to make this happen, and then just, it's not about strapping on 2, 3, 4 cylinders and getting in the water and going for a dive. You've got to get those cylinders there. You've got to get the gas pumped. You've got to get all of the equipment, all of the logistics behind it, right? And that sort of thing it takes a team effort, right? This is not just the individual.
Yeah, I mean, there was a big team. I mean, there was just 2 divers, but there was a team of scientists. I think we had altogether, there was 12 people altogether, something like that, if I remember rightly, 12 people all in that team. And there was just 2 divers as such. So we had scientists, we had backup guys, we had a doctor on standby, we had you know, medical supplies that had been brought in case anything had happened. There was scientists doing their work on the surface. There was scientists who were connected with us, who wanted details from us. So they were doing work on the side. So the whole lot. And I was actually called in because the person that was supposed to be diving with Ryan couldn't make it. So they had a last minute basic shuffle, and I was the closest person to them who could literally drop everything and go. But I fitted into the team doing all the work. So, you know, I was, you know, for me, it was having dived and done quite a few explorations where a lot of preparation is required. I kind of knew what was involved. I knew what had to be done. So I kind of slotted in fairly easily, I think, into that team. And not only that, you've got to get all the permissions from government, which in itself is a mission. They had a person in Antananarivo, I believe, for nearly 3 or 4 months, just working on the permits to dive in these 2 caves, because these 2 caves are actually in a national park. And one of the cave is a sacred site to the local people. And to get, before we could dive, the local shaman had to bless the cave and everything, and before we could actually go diving. So it was a lot of preparation to do these 2 dives. Well, when I say 2 dives, 2 caves, I should say. And, you know, we did them over seven full days of diving. And we had planned to do, we did about 3 to 4 dives in a day. And we were pushing the limits with, you know, with regards to decompression and stuff like that. Obviously we had to go into decompression, because to do those dives and that many dives, we had to be very, very careful. So a lot of decompression on air, because we couldn't get oxygen to the place. We couldn't get all the Deco gases there. It was just, you know, but we weren't talking long decompressions. We're talking 20 minutes, 30 minutes of Deco, but that's about as maximum as we went to. So, you know, all that has got to be considered when you do these type of plans, these dives.